Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com. This is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, the 15th of April through the 19th of April. Don't forget, the markets are closed this coming Friday. It is Good Friday. For those of you that are new to my channel, this Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, we talk about some market action from Friday and last week. We also look at some things we need to be aware of for the week coming up. We look through some charts of the markets. We talk the market, so let's go ahead and dig in. As you can see, this is a heat map from FinViz. Friday was a really good day for the bulls. Markets were on pause for most of the week up until Friday. Friday we got a boost. The Dow Jones was Dow Jones 30 was up 269 points. The transports were up 127 points. The S&P 500 up 19 points, and the Nasdaq up 37 points. We got better than expected data out of China, so the futures were up on that. We caught an energy deal on Friday between Chevron and Anadarko, APC, a $33 billion deal, $65, about $65 a share. JP Morgan's earnings were moving the banks up on Friday. JP Morgan had good earnings. I believe they beat by about 30 cents. So the SPY had the banks and the energy sectors moving up. The XLV was a little bit weak. We'll go into that in a little bit further in the video. So overall, though, a good week for the bulls. As you can see from the heat map, though, Chevron was down. ExxonMobil was down. We did get ConocoPhillips and a lot of the oils moving up. Google was up 1%. Facebook almost up 1%. Amazon took the day off on Friday. The semis remained strong. We had TXN, Texas Instruments moving up 1.5%, over 1.5%. Intel moving up over 1%. Broadcom having a good day, up almost 2.5% on the day. As you can see, the banks, JP Morgan was up over 4%. Bank America almost up 4%. Citigroup, Wells Fargo was the weak one in the sector. Regional Bank, PNC, up 3% for the day on Friday. Visa was strong, up 1%. Boeing bouncing back there, up up 2.5% for BA Boeing. So overall, a good Friday for the bulls after kind of a subdued week. We'll show you that in a moment. So here's that deal: Chevron to buy Anadarko for $33 billion. That news coming out on Friday. Then the weak sector this week, if you like a visual on the sectors, weekly sector performance. As you can see, most sectors were in green for the week. The XLE was down slightly, the energy sector, but did bounce big on Friday. XLV, the healthcare sector, was down quite a bit this week. UNH was leading us down. So a lot of talk from Bernie Sanders, a lot of political talk. He wants Medicare for all, so that hurt the healthcare stocks, moved down on this. So political headlines are what's moving this at the moment. So the XLV and stocks like UNH taking a big hit this week. Now, with the movement in the market, we're back up to the 74 spot on our fear and greed index, courtesy of CNN Business. So right now, the market is very complacent. I'll show you that when I show you the VIX. I believe we have about a 12 handle on the VIX. Market may be in a little bit of an overbought condition, maybe some consolidation, but we're just coming out of kind of a consolidating week. So we'll see. It looks good for the bulls. I mean, we're in the good part of the season for the bulls. April is a good month for the bulls and the markets. So let's go ahead and dive in. So here's the SPY chart. It's a 5-minute pre-post market chart. Shows you the extended hours of the SPY. So this is where the week began. So we kind of gapped down as we started out the week and then bounced back by the bulls. We pulled back to about the 286.75 spot for the SPY. Then the bulls recovered off of there, pushed this back. We were battling. This yellow line is equal to the 5 EMA off my daily chart. So as you can see, we were battling around that 5 EMA, acting as resistance. We were holding the light blue line you see here is the 10 SMA off my daily chart, holding that. And then Friday, we got the China news numbers that came out. We had all the mergers and all that big news that hit on Friday, and then the market just took off. A little bit of a pause intraday here, and then into the close, they pushed us back up and held us up in the after hours on Friday. So that's kind of your market action for the week on the SPY. So let's go ahead and go through some of the sector watch. As you can see, more complacency came into the market for the week. The VIX was down 4%. Friday, we had a 7%, 8% change in the VIX with a 12 handle. Let's go ahead and look at that on the weekly chart. So we're getting into that real complacent spot. Now, we've been as low as 9 handles on the VIX. So now we're coming back down to 12. As you can see, the VIX has been trying to hold around that 11 spot. So we'll see what the market wants to do. Not calling for any kind of major sell-off, but market may need to pull back a little bit as folks are getting a little too complacent out there. As far as for the week, gold, JNUG down 6% for the week. Nat gas was down fractionally for the week. The IBB showing some weakness, down 3% for the week. TLT was down. As TLT moves down, bond yields move back up. Let's go ahead and see what was good in our markets as far as some of the sectors. We had Hack, the cybersecurity sector, up almost 3% for the week. The software space was hot again, up 2% for the week, and the IGV, the software index, was up almost 1.75%. IYT, the transports, up 1.75%. The regional banks got a nice bounce this week, but as you see with the markets, the Dow transports up 1.66%. Oil was up 1.28%. Semis were strong, up over 1% for the week. The NASDAQ composite, yes, we were up for the week, only about 0.5% on the NASDAQ. The SPY also up 0.5% for the week. The Dow Jones itself was actually down fractionally, basically flat on the Dow Jones for the week. Some of your key sectors in the S&P 500, the XOP for the week was up 2%, XLF up 2% for the week, XLC, the communication services, up almost 1.5%. To the downside, the XBI, the small cap biotechs, down 4% this week. The XLV was down over 2% for the week. The XME, the metals and the mining sector, down over 3% for the week. The XRT, the retail space, down 1% for the week. Let's go ahead and check out some of the sectors. So as you can see, the IBB, which was down for the week, coming down and testing the 10 SMA on the weekly, staying within the middle of the range on the IBB. The XBI, very similar, coming down, testing the 10 SMA after that bounce off of 65 when the markets were getting hit back in December. We did recover, but we're right back around the middle of the range there on the XBI. Let's look at the IWM. If we look at the IWM on the weekly chart here, so you see that we're coming up to the 50 SMA, big bounce from the lows. Now we have that 160 spot. We're about the middle of the range on the IWM. IWC, which is the micro caps, remaining under the 100 SMA on the weekly chart. If we go ahead and switch over to the daily chart for the IWC, you see we still remain under the 200 SMA. For the IWM on our daily chart, we have cleared the 200 SMA, and right now we're trying to hold above it for the small caps on the IWM, holding above that 200 SMA on the daily chart. We did get that gap up on the XLF, breaking back above the 200 SMA on our daily chart for the XLF after holding the 25 spot. Now we're up here at 27. The green line on this daily chart is your 200 SMA. So let's see if bulls can hold hold us above that. We do have a lot of bank earnings coming out at the beginning of the week. I'll get into more of that in a moment. If we go ahead and look at the weekly chart of the XLF, we are back above and holding above the 10 SMA on our weekly chart for the XLF. Let's go ahead and look at oil, light sweet crude oil, WTI crude oil on the weekly chart. As we've been talking about on the video, we did clear that $60 a barrel area. Kind of a topping candle here, maybe a little bit of a doji inverted hammer up at the $65 spot for oil, light sweet crude oil. If we go ahead and look at it on the daily chart, we are holding above the 200 SMA on light sweet crude oil, but battling that $65 a barrel spot for oil. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that were moving the market around. The race to 5G is a race America must win. Donald Trump coming out. So a lot of the 5G, Verizon was moving up, CCI, AMT, American Tower. A lot of stocks were moving up on this. U.S. announces plans to accelerate high-speed wireless development. So that was one of the news stories developing this week. Disney, as I'm sure you're aware of, they're going to be starting out their streaming service, $6.99, competing against Netflix. Was well accepted. Disney having a big, strong day on Friday after their announcement. So the Disney Plus lineup is the ultimate flex. This coming from the Morning Brew. We also had a major announcement in the oil sector with Chevron moving up. Now, there is also a possibility that Oxy Petroleum is going to make a offer for Anadarko for $70 a share. So maybe that is not or done, that deal, so we'll see. But now the oil sector could be pushing up, and with these mergers, and like I said, might get a bidding war on Anadarko. As far as the news coming out, pushing the markets around now. We have a new IPO coming out soon. Uber will be getting the markets exciting. Uber releases its long-awaited IPO filing. By the way, Uber reported 2018 revenue of 11.27 billion. The company posted net income of 997 million, in 2018. So with adjusted EBITDA, 1.85 billion loss there for Uber. So just be aware of that as this IPO coming out. I believe the date it's coming out around is May 9th. This article coming out from Morning Brew, not everything in the economy is great. Retail passes a key benchmark, not the good kind. You know what they say, records are made to be broken. U.S. retailers have announced more store closures so far this year than they did in 2018. So a lot of store closures going on, because of, I guess, people are buying on the internet, and then maybe just not enough. Maybe we're just overstored in the United States. But this article coming out from the Morning Brew, just wanted to pass that along. Not everything is hunky-dory out there. And I'll put this article, I have this article out on my Twitter feed at ZoZoStockWatch if you want to take a look at this article from the Morning Brew. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things we need to be aware of in the markets coming up for the week ahead. Earnings kicked off Friday, but we really start getting into it now. With more banks reporting Monday before the open. You have Citi and Goldman Sachs reporting earnings Monday before the bell. Bank of America will be reporting before the bell on Tuesday. Johnson & Johnson, BlackRock will be reporting. We get Netflix and IBM reporting after the bell on Tuesday. That conference call will be real important for Netflix as Disney chomping at their tail there on Netflix. Abbott reports, PepsiCo, Morgan Stanley before the bell on Wednesday. TEAM will be reporting after the close in the software space. Alcoa reporting earnings. Skechers, Schlumberger in the oil services sector. American Express coming out all Thursday before the bell. We get Intuitive Surgical reporting after the close on Thursday. don't forget the markets are closed on Friday for Good Friday, so there'll be no trading this coming Friday. Markets are closed. Let's go ahead and get into the look at some of the economic information, courtesy of the Trade Exchange, an audio news service throughout the day. The Trade Exchange is their website. So we get some sprinkling of Fed speak going on throughout the week. We also have uh, pretty straightforward as far as the economic data coming out. Earnings are big this week. We do get some overnight numbers coming out from Japan on Thursday, the CPI at 7:30 p.m. This link to this calendar is also out on my Twitter feed at ZoZoStockWatch. This coming from investor.com. So some of the big things to watch out for, like we said, the earnings season is really going to be kicking off. So for U.S. retail sales, that'll be coming out. The March numbers will be coming out at 8:30 on Friday. That'll be closely watched. China Q1 GDP is coming out Wednesday morning, so be aware of that in the for your economic information. We also get Eurozone PMIs will be coming out this week, and OPEC meeting will be taking place starting on Wednesday and Thursday. They'll meet in Vienna. So some important things to be aware of coming up. This from investor.com. This news courtesy of Benzinga. So we get some clinical trial readouts coming out this week. Wave Life Sciences will have some news coming out on their phase 1 study. Sarepta SRPT will have a conference on April 16th. NVAX also will have some news coming out on its phase 3. Let's see. We also have CFRX will be reporting on their phase 2 data. Information that coming out on April 16th. SCYX also phase 3 data information coming out on April 16th. Once again, this courtesy from Benzinga, the week ahead in biotech conferences and clinical trial readouts, and that courtesy of Benzinga. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the worst stocks for the week, and then we'll get into some of the best stocks for the week. Starting off with Lyft, the recent IPO, this car sharing service, LYFT, down another 20% for the week on Lyft. WFC did not fare too well after their earnings. Wells Fargo down almost 5% for the week. ZGNX, this stock, biotech stock, took a hit as it's got a refusal to file letter from the FDA. That stock dropping 26% for the week. We had an oversupply issue coming out. A lot of downgrades on U.S. Steel this week, down 16% for the week. AKS also down this week, 14%. NUE got hit this week, down 4% for the week. STLD also moving down almost 6% for the week as folks are worried about oversupply in the steel sector. The LX, the steel services sector, was down 3% for the week. Some other stocks that were down for the week. WTW, Weight Watchers continues to move down 16% for the week. Roku taking a little hit on the Disney news, down 11% for the week. Over in the cannabis space, VFF down 15% for the week. Cronus Group not faring too well this week, taking a pause, pulling back to the 20 SMA on the weekly chart here. Have to watch that for possible bounce on Cronus Group, down 7% for the week. TLRY moving down this week, down 11% for the week. PYX over in the cannabis sector, down 14% for the week. DERM moving down this week, 20%. Biotech name Baidu moving down this week, down 5% for the week. eBay not having a strong week, down over 4% for the week. Netflix taking a hit this week on that Disney news, down 4% for the week on Netflix, and breaking down below the 10 SMA on that name. UNH, Medicare for All, right? Medicare for All pushing down a lot of the health healthcare sector, down 10% for the week there on that one. CVX, Chevron down over 5% for the week after coming out announcing their bid for Anadarko. Urban in the retail space was down 7% for the week. UTHR, their phase 3 did not meet endpoints on UTHR. The stock dropping 11% for the week. Another biotech name down 23% this week. Not good news there. It lost its inter parte review, so that stock dropping hard this week on CNCE. AUTL, they did a $4 million offering on AUTL, stock dropping 16% for the week. ZSAN also came out with an offering, this stock dropping 33% for the week. Dare, another offering in the biotech space, down 19% for the week. WVE, this is Wave Life Sciences, stock dropping 20% for the week. Delay in their phase 1-2 studies for this one. OTLK came out with an offering of 10 million shares, and they dropped this stock down 73% for the week. ICPT met on one of two of its primary endpoints in phase 3 released. The market didn't like that. This stock dropping 19% for the week. VKTX down on its phase 2 liver fat study on VKTX, stock dropping 14% for the week. Another stock that was down in the healthcare services sector, ANTM, dropping 14% for the week. We had XFOR, they came out with an offering, dropping that stock down 27% for the week. So that's some of your worst stocks for the week. Some of our best stocks for the week that came out. RNN, they started trading for their 1 for 12 reverse stock split on RNN, a big boost in that one because of that reverse split. Obviously, APC had a good week, up 31% after that takeover talk from Chevron. Mara had a very good week as some of the crypto stocks started moving up. Mara up 27% for the week. SRAX over in the crypto space also moving up 27% for the week. BHVN, Bloomberg reporting on this name that they are exploring a sale of the company on BHVN, stock moving up 16% for the week. NBEV had a very good week as they got a deal with Walmart, up almost 14% for the week. Did give back some of those gains, though, was up higher, having an issue there at the $7 area on NBEV. But for the week, though, up 14%. Yandex had a good week. Yandex moving up 11% for the week. FTNT over in the cybersecurity sector, up 10% for the week. RH coming back, making a comeback off the $100 area, up 10% for the week on that name. CMRX, they're getting a new CEO, so they boosted this one up 31% for the week on CMRX. VTL, or smaller stock, up 63% for the week on VTL. STNG, a shipper, climbing 23% for the week. PHAS, they had this stock up 37%. Breakthrough designation by the FDA on PHAS, moving that stock up strongly for the week. Disney, with their Disney Plus coming out, this stock was up 13% for the week. JP Morgan reported earnings on Friday. They beat handedly, up 6% for the week on JP Morgan. EYES also climbing this week, up 31% for the week. MRVL having a big move up this week, up 11.5%. Was a lot of call activity in the previous weeks in MRVL, so a big pop up in that name for the week. INSP having a good week, up 11% for the week. FSLR, Goldman Sachs coming out being positive on the name, up 7% for the week. This week they dosed their first patient in phase 3. So PRVP moving up 15% for the week. EVFM will raise 80 million in investments for EVFM. This stock climbing 18% for the week on this small little biotech name, and that is some of your best stocks for the week. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the SPY and the Qs. We'll look at those charts on a weekly chart here. So we'll start out with the SPX. So as you can see, after that December massacre, the bounce off the 200 SMA, the V bottom, we are coming back up to new all-time highs in the market. So be aware of that. We could get a slight pullback if we come up and touch that. So we are coming up to recent all-time highs and a resistance spot. The Qs themselves doing the same thing, very strong. Earnings coming out. We're waiting on earnings from Amazon, Google, Apple. Netflix will be kicking off the tech sector, the FANG names, next week. So the Qs coming up to all-time highs. Will the IWM make that push further up here after bouncing off of its lows, kind of lagging here on the IWM and the IWC. So let's see what that has in store for us next week. We'll also be watching the IBB and the XBI sectors, the biotech sectors, to see if they want to recover from that move down last week. So just a reminder, we do have the markets closed this Friday, so we do have a 4-day week ahead. So let's see in this shortened week what the market wants to bring us. Like I said last week, we did get a boost on Friday, but the markets were pretty quiet last week. A lot of folks on vacation for April, for spring break. But let's see what this week has in store, as earnings seasons is on us and going to be pushing a lot of stocks around for the week. I'll be back. This is Mike from Zozo Stock Watch. It's Sunday when I'm making this video. I'll have another video coming out on some stocks that I'll be watching for Monday, and some stocks I'll be watching for the week ahead. Have a great day, everybody. Back at you with another video. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com.